Flexion and extension views are a common lumbar spine specialty view that we do. They're done standing next to the wall bucky, one flexion and one extension. And this is what they'll look like. You always want to document on the image as well which one is flexion, which one is extension. They're looking for something called spondylolisthesis. And what does that mean? It means one of the vertebrae have slipped forward onto the other. And you can see here this one's a little bit forward. So they use surgery here to sort of stabilize their spine. This is a fairly severe one. You can see this vertebrae is slipped very far forward. This one looks pushed back almost in this flexion extension. So it can be very painful for patients. There's a specialty view for the L5S1. It's an AP axial view. I have never done this view, but it is in your textbook, so I want to make sure and touch base on it. So it's an 8x10 film size. The degree of tube angle is going to be 30 degrees for male, 35 cephalad for female. Central ray enters at the level of ASIS, and it's just an AP version of that lateral L5S1, but it's looking to open this joint space here. Again, landmarks, 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 landmarks. You guys know the deal. Go over your lumbar spine vertebrae, all views, posterior, anterior views. Know where your joints lie, the zygapophyseal joints. When would you see intervertebral foramina? Where's the pars interarticularis, spondylosis versus spondylolisthesis? Please know the difference between the two. All right. Spondylosis is the degeneration. Sorry, gang. I'm really kind of tumbling over my words here today. Degeneration of the spine and lower back. It's usually a term that's the type of pain that a patient may have over time. And then the spondylolisthesis is the one where the vertebrae is slipping forward. So just some radiographs to critique with me here. For this lateral lumbar spine, the error is, I hope, very obvious. They didn't center far enough back. They're clipping off the spinous processes back here. So we wanted to line the patient up straighter and center back where they're supposed to be. For lumbar spine, making sure the patient lateral is key. So some identifiers here for me, similar to that of lateral chest, which you guys know by now, to determine if the chest is rotated, we're going to look for these posterior ribs. And I'm seeing some big posterior ribs here. So what does that mean to me? It means the patient's not lateral. I also can see double borders. As you can see, there's two lines here on the vertebrae, on almost all of them coming all the way down. It gets lower down at the hips, which means the hips are probably more lateral than up here by the chest because they're bigger. So you shouldn't see two borders of the vertebrae in the back. So this patient's rotated. Lateral L5S1, you can see the L5S1 space is not open at all. So ideally, we're going to throw an angle on this and repeat to open the space. Oblique image critique, and we talked about this in the last video, but it depends on where the pedicle is. Is it anterior or is it posterior to determine the rotation? So 45-degree lumbar spine oblique, you're going to look for your Scotty dog. You're going to look for the pedicle or the eye of the Scotty dog, which is the circle. These little rounded circles here. I really feel like they look like fish. I don't know, but fish don't have big noses. Anyway, the pedicle should be close to midline of the vertebrae. So it's up to you to determine if this is an over rotation or an under rotation. Okay. Again, we're looking at the Scotty dogs here, and this is the other version. So the pedicle, the eye of the Scotty dog, the circle, is really anterior and not midline of the spine. So I want you to go through your notes and figure out, is this over or under rotation? And just for fun, a CT view of fracture. Again, another burst fracture, CT view. Look at that line coming all the way through. It's gotta be painful. Osteomyelitis. Compression fractures. You will see this a lot especially in your geriatric patients. You see how L1 is basically crushed here. L2 is getting a little squished itself. L3, 4, 5 are still the same height, but a compression fracture is basically a squished vertebrae. A sixth vertebrae. 10% of adults will have a sixth vertebrae. They might not even know it unless someone tells them, or unless you tell them, but it's common to count from the last rib when numbering the lumbar vertebrae, but surgeons want you to count from the sacrum up. So you should always be counting from sacrum, L5 up, just in case it is the sixth vertebrae. And this will, it'll just look like it's extra long, just for fun. Artifacts. The underwire bra will get you every time. So especially if it's hanging a little bit lower, ladies. If it's hanging low, it might cover up L1. So have your patient change completely. Make sure they take that bra off if they have one. The belly button ring will show up. The grommets, those little metal circles on the pants where the strings come out, those will get you every time too. So try and remove those as well. DJD, degenerative joint disorder, spinal fusion. Can be different levels of spinal fusion depending on what the patient needs. And your patients that may have surgery will come back for follow-ups with their surgeon. They might request standing views for these, and just AP and lateral, they don't need a spot. So watch your orders on those. This is what a calcified aorta looks like. You can see that thickening there. Bone spur, these little hooks here on the sides. Ouch, that just looks so painful for me. But it's bone that has developed, and it can be very pointy and it can be very damaging. Scoliosis is the curvature of the spine. It kind of makes an S shape. And we'll go more into scoliosis in a little bit. And that's that one.